Hi, everybody. This is Saad. I wanted to take a few minutes to let you know about the trip that I took this past week to Austin because I think there are some noteworthy things happening in this city, uh, and there are sort of historical parallels that I'd like to draw. So I was invited to speak at the University of Texas Austin at the McCombs School of Business, and within the School of Business there is a center called the Salem Center for Policy. And my two main hosts, although I met many other people from the center, all of whom were lovely, were Professor Carlos Carvalho, who is a statistician, and Professor Richard Lowery, who is an economist. Uh, and so I was invited to give two talks there, one on Monday morning of last week, or Monday at noon, and that was a talk on the epistemology of evolutionary psychology. And I highly recommend that you go to their YouTube channel. So this is again the Salem Center for Policy, and check out that talk because the talk itself and then all of the questions that were posed after the talk are available for you to watch and hopefully enjoy. And then at 5 o'clock that day, I had a second lecture to a broader audience, a university-wide lecture on the parasitic mind, and you can also catch that on their channel, including all of the Q&A questions subsequent to my talk. Then, of course, I also appeared on Joe Rogan's show. This was, I think, my eighth time on his show, but my first time in his new location in Austin. I'd been to two of his studios in Southern California, and we had done one remotely during COVID. And so it was really nice to hang out with him and, with his wife, and met his two young daughters. It was, as always, it was wonderful. I also did another show, another podcast under the auspices of the Salem Center for Policy, uh, hosted by Professor Richard Lowry, about all things woke. That also is posted on their YouTube channel. So you've got three things that you could watch there: my evolutionary psychology lecture, my parasitic mind lecture, and then my appearance on the podcast of the Salem Center for Policy. I also had a chance to meet the president of the University of Austin, and as you know, they're trying to do some really exciting stuff. Tomorrow, actually, I am posting a chat that I held recently with Dr. Neil Ferguson, who is a very eminent historian who is involved with the University of Austin. So we briefly talked about you know the excitement around founding a new university, not only that is rooted in sort of a rejection of all of the woke nonsense, but also as was explained to me from the president of the university, that is trying to break down disciplinary silos, trying to be more interdisciplinary. So there are some really exciting things, and so that was really fun. I also had the chance to meet with a lot of influential business people, the oil tycoon types, and various other businesses who are very supportive of the work that I do. So that was really fun. What amazed me about meeting those folks is that many of them are truly accomplished. I mean, exceptionally accomplished business people, and many of them have net worth in the billions of dollars, and yet the extent to which they were warm and supportive and humble and unassuming was just wonderful to see. You would never know that these folks are worth billions of dollars. Just lovely, lovely folks. I also had a chance to meet Michael Malice, who, by the way, I'll be posting, or rather hosting. I'll be taping his appearance on my show tomorrow. I'm not sure when it will come up, probably in a few weeks. Uh, he was, I've been on his show. We've communicated in the past. He was actually very kind in that he wanted to invite me for a get together. He set up kind of a Gertrude Stein type salon, whereby anybody who's passing through Austin, he tries to bring like-minded people to hang out at his house, and so he was very keen on doing that for me. Unfortunately, my days were just booked all all day and all night with the folks from my hosts. And so, but we did end up still having a coffee for about an hour, had a great conversation. And so I'm really looking forward to having him tomorrow. And as I was talking to Michael, this is actually what I wanted to sort of mention about Austin. I got the feeling that, in the same way that, I mean, not to be too hyperbolic, but in the same way that throughout history there are particular locations, particular cities, particular intellectual and artistic ecosystems where everything seems to be flourishing from that, location. Think about, Florence in the medieval era, that led to, Da Vinci and Michelangelo and all the rest of the Italian Renaissance. And then think about many centuries later the Vienna Circle, where a whole bunch of philosophers and mathematicians and natural scientists and social scientists would meet for these big, incredible conversations about philosophy of science, etc. There's definitely something that's in the water in Austin. I'm not suggesting that we're going to get the next Michelangelo from there, but who knows? But there's definitely something that's happening whereby many of the most creative people that you could think of are congregating to Austin. I didn't know, for example, that Lex Friedman was now in Austin. I've never met him, but Michael was telling me that he's moved there. For those of you who don't know, he's a very popular podcaster. As I said, Michael Malice has moved there. Of course, Elon Musk has moved there. Joe Rogan's moved there, and many, many others. So there seems to be this vibrancy, this intellectual vibrancy, this entrepreneurial spirit that's happening in Austin that's really infectious. And so, as someone who was going through a rough time at the thought of the governments stealing the book royalties of this the Parasitic Mind, I was really feeling quite down. It was a really nice kind of pause button to hit, to go there, immerse myself with all sorts of like-minded people, and just kind of relish the opportunity to interact with smart, accomplished, unassuming, entrepreneurial folks. So, we are certainly thinking in my family what our future holds. I don't feel like Quebec is the place where it is conceivable to be forevermore for all sorts of reasons. Yes, the winter is bad, but the socialist ethos here, the confiscatory, punitive, socialist ethos, if you are successful, we must punish you so that we can decide how to redistribute your earned money, your creativity, your life story, your words, is ingrained in every nook and cranny of Quebec society, and that's not really where you want to be if you want to be a shaker and a mover. And so, regrettably, I say regrettably because I'll always be grateful to Quebec and Canada for having welcomed us back in the 70s, and that will never change. But I feel that the existential rape, certainly that I've been through, has been just impossible to bear. And I, at some point, will probably write a whole article, if not a book, about the crime, the existential crime of progressive taxation. It's simply impossible to imagine that we tolerate such theft. But in any case, to return on a more positive note, Austin was truly a wonderful experience. I thank every single one of the people whom I met, who were lovely, who were hospitable. My wife came with me, and so we were treated so kindly, so warmly. And so to all the folks who were part of that experience, thank you so much for your hospitality, and hope to see you soon, y'all. Cheers, everybody.